The latest statement was yesterday afternoon from the Buffalo Bills that Damar Hamlin spent Monday night in the intensive care unit and remains there today, Tuesday, in critical condition at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. We are grateful and thankful for the outpouring of support we have received thus far. And the outpouring has been overwhelming. It's been significant. A lot of people are struggling with this. It's something that traumatized not just the people who were there in the stadium, not just the people on the field, not just the people in the stands, but the people who were watching. It was collective trauma that millions experienced because millions were tuned in. That's one of the realities, Chris, of the NFL attracting such a massive audience to its games. You have plenty of people who experience that, and people were struggling with it yesterday, and it's a weird feeling to be struggling with something that you weren't there to witness, but you saw it through your TV, and you experienced the coverage. And I heard from a lot of people yesterday who were having a hard time and still have a hard time, and we still wait for news on the condition of Damar Hamlin, as we all hope to hear good news sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a jarring incident. I mean, it's one thing to, watch the news and hear a newscaster tell you about something bad that happened. It's another thing to witness it live, on national TV and then see replays of it, and then to see the emotions of teammates and friends and everybody else who's around there. Just it hits you in your soul, because it's one of those moments where it's just, oh my gosh, we're watching this in live action and somebody could be dying. I mean, that's where we were. And it does. It just pierces through your soul that way. Let alone, we care about people. We don't want to see that happen to anybody. And then on top of that, it's not just people. It's a professional football player, and we know, the Buffalo Bills, and we know people associated with that organization. So for people like you and me, it hits home. And then the other thing, it's like, let's be serious. Football's America's sport, period. There's nothing bigger in our country than the National Football League. It's the biggest thing we got going as far as entertainment. And that took a little bit of a blow on Monday night. It just, as far as, oh man, this kind of hurts the mojo of the game, and so it's like everything encompassed of it. Not only the mojo of the game, the mojo of the season, a little bit of a black eye on the sport. There's just so many things, and I think it's natural. I felt very gloomy myself all day yesterday, and still feel that way when I woke up this morning because of this incident.
Yeah, I've been following this sport for 50 years now, and there's never been a time that it just felt like the NFL world stopped spinning. And
Right.
To have that happen as the season approaches its final act, at least as far as the regular season is concerned, that just was strange. Everything about it has been strange, and the primary concern has been and continues to be the condition of Damar Hamlin. Also, the mental health and well-being of the members of the Buffalo Bills, the coaches, the players, the entire organization, the Cincinnati Bengals as well, and all NFL players and coaching staff, specifically the players, though, because as it currently stands, Chris, there's a game in 3 days. 2 of them.
Is
Will
there?
players
Yeah.
be
Right.
ready?
Right.
3 days, yeah. Still, Week 18 is still on. We're going to talk more about that coming up. But my point for now is the broader notion that 3 days from now, the Chiefs and the Raiders play, and then the Jaguars and the Texans play for the AFC South division title. Just saying that still seems trite. We're all still getting our legs and finding our balance to talk about things unrelated to Damar Hamlin. But my point is this. Will all of the players be ready to go, mentally ready to go? They may tell themselves they are, and maybe once they're out there, they'll feel fine. But I think crossing the thick white stripe on the sideline is going to be different now than it's ever been. For them and for their family members. We spent a lot of time talking about Tua Tagovailoa's family and how they may be feeling and must be feeling about his long-term and short-term health and well-being, worrying about that next time his head hits the turf, because that's how he's gotten injured multiple times this year. Now you've got every family member of every NFL player fearful that what happened to Damar Hamlin can happen to their father, husband, son, friend, nephew, cousin, someone they know and someone they care about. Even though you take a step back from it and say, well, it's still incredibly rare. The data point's now there. The worst case scenarios happened. And it's just part of what everyone has to process to get to the point where guys can play. You know, whenever somebody retires from football, whether you call it retire, whether you call it, people will say, oh, he's quitting. Look, my position always is, this game is too hard, too demanding, and the risks are too great to have someone play who doesn't want to. Colts fans are still mad at Andrew Luck. Look, if he doesn't want to go do it, he shouldn't do it. No one who doesn't want to, who feels any hesitation about it, shouldn't do it. And Chris, I don't know. There's no manual. There's no playbook. There's no standard operating procedure. I don't know. Will all players be ready to go on Saturday? Will they just be acting like they're ready to go because it's a macho sport and that's what you're supposed to do? That's the concern I have for players, not just on the Bills and Bengals, but players on every team.
Yeah, I hear you. I do. I mean, it's I do feel like it's a group that would be ready to go, but that doesn't hold true for every player on every team. I mean, when you first bring up that statement, hands down, right away, I just go, I don't know if it's fair for the Bills. That's for sure. Right off the bat, you just go, that is a different story. I mean, come on. Yesterday, we know they weren't preparing for a football game. Or if they were, some coaches were. I mean, how much work did they get done? It's a major distraction, right? The players, I mean, from what I know, some stayed in Buffalo, right? Or did some come back? I don't know. I heard mixed stories there. Either way, they're all over the place. That's going to overtake the building today. Still, the emotions there. So that's really the team I think of. Yes, it's going to be in the back of the mind of a lot of players in the NFL. There's no question. It's kind of, hey, listen, the gift and the curse and the beauty of football. That's why I used to get nervous going to see my dad play football, or my mom would get nervous to watch me play football. Because, yeah, it's a great sport and it's intense, but you also knew, hey, someone could get hurt out here, and that adds to the intrigue, right? This is just one where it went, whoa. This is not just injury or fear. This is death. And that's where it hits home. But, again, it's like you said, it's a horrible incident. But we're in hundreds of thousands of football players over time. It's never happened. Hey, look at me. I'm a poster child. Whoa, put that on the new doctor's chart. You can lose your spleen and almost bleed internally and die. Okay, well, it happened to me. I'm the only one that I know that came at least that close. I'm the only one since. So, yes, I mean, it's a horrible incident, and hopefully we can continue to prepare for it, but hopefully we can also put it into the terms that you're saying, that this is a sport that's been going on for a long time. It's never happened. It's a shame it did happen, and hopefully it doesn't happen again, or if it does, it's a long, long time from now.
And that's the struggle, Chris. That's the push and pull. That's the tension that I think this sport is experiencing because, and we talked about this some yesterday, we're so conditioned to the next man up mentality.
Yeah.
Player gets injured, player exits, new player enters, game keeps going, season keeps going. We've said many times in the past, established players lost to injury early in the year. Out of sight, out of mind. We've talked about how great players of the not-too-distant past retire, and you hear their name 4 years later, and you say, I remember that guy.
He was good. I forgot about that.
I'd forgotten about it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'd Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes was damn good, right? But if they don't make it to the Hall of Fame, you kind of like have to. For some of them, you have to stop and think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, when Miles Austin had the issue that I still have concerns with the way that's handled. I have issues with the NFL's issue with $50 here or there on basketball sports, wagering through sports books that sponsor the NFL. It's like Miles Austin. Damn, he was good. He had 1,300 receiving yards in 2009. And it's just not my aging brain. That's the way it is. The shield, which is like on the front of that train with all the 32 cars for each team, it just keeps going. And so that's where we are now, and we're all working our way through this because, hey, folks, they issued the statement yesterday, and we'll be talking about that more coming up. Week 18 is still on. So that's what we're all trying to process. And we think a lot of you out there listening to, watching PFT Live on Peacock, Sirius XM 85, Sky Sports NFL podcast are dealing with the same feelings we're dealing with. We're not trying to make it about us. We're trying to help you. We're trying to relate to you. And we like to think that you're dealing with the same issues we're dealing with. And we're all trying to figure out how to just kind of, when a train gets started again after it's been completely stopped, it's just kind of, it's got to work its way. And we're kind of working our way back to moving again because it eventually will.
Yeah. And
inevitably will.
I was going to say, Mike, and Monday night, right? I mean, we were at like almost a pinnacle. I mean, that's where I think it's also extra jarring. We were sitting there in a moment, I'm literally like, had said 20 times before the game started to my wife, I can't wait for the game to start. I cannot wait. Let's go sit down. Here we go, right? Burrow, boom, boom, boom. Here comes Josh Allen. Oh, my gosh, they go down the field. It was hard work, but they got the field goal. Oh, no, here comes the Bengals again. I mean, it was setting up to where you're going, this looks like it could be fun. This is going to be an awesome one. Whoa, big completion to T. Higgins. Oh, what's the matter? Somebody's hurt. Oh, man. Oh, it looks kind of serious. All right, well, we'll be back. What? You come back from the next break, and it's like, what? Oh, my gosh. I mean, your heart went into your throat. You're seeing people walk around talking to themselves, saying prayers. You knew, like, right then something was really seriously happening. That, I think, added to it, Mike. You're right. It's hard to get it going. And that's, to me, like, the big question is, do you get it going and to start the healing process and honor Damar Hamlin? Or is it too hard to get it going and you back off? I think that's the million-dollar question here. And, I'm one to tend to go, let's go forward. Let's honor him that way. That's the best way to heal. But I know not everybody else is like that. And that's where it's a very tough question for the NFL.
Well, something I said yesterday, the NFL's position is they'll make decisions about the Bills-Bengals game and the schedule generally at the appropriate time. The problem is time is going to make the decisions for you.
Right.
Because there isn't much of it, because this isn't September. When 9/11 happened in 2001, the NFL had the luxury, not that there was any luxury happening at the time, but it had the benefit of time. It took week 2 of the 2001 season and tacked it on to the back end, moved the playoffs back a week, and eliminated the 2-week stretch between conference championships and the Super Bowl. That was the solution that eventually was devised. But there wasn't that urgency of we are ticking toward Week 18 and Wild Card Weekend and Divisional Round. And it's different this time. And everyone's just trying to do the best they can. And everybody's going to handle these situations differently. And we're just all trying to get through it as that train slowly begins to roll again. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.